attracting and keeping the right people is one of the 4 essential components of the life cycle of a business. The others, and we've had a couple of webinars about some of these over recent weeks, are a differentiated strategy, a strategy that differentiates your client's business from their competitors. And the second one is execution, flawless execution, in the words of Vern Harnish, the author of Scaling Up. Execution is very important. Obviously, we're going to have the strategy first. And as we're going to cover today, companies need people. One of the key components of this life cycle of a business. And the fourth is having plenty of cash, having the financial resources to advance the business. And we're going to be looking at the life cycle of a business cash contribution in a future webinar. So welcome. If you have any questions and you're watching this as a webinar, can you please type your question in on your computer, and I will answer your questions later in the webinar. If you're on the Facebook Live feed, unfortunately, you can't log on to us or send us the message direct, but you're more than welcome to send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, and I will get back to you later today or tomorrow with answers to your questions. So we've established that people are one of the 4 life cycle components of a business, of a successful business. So what can accountants do to assist your clients to have the right team in your client's business? Today, we're still concentrating on this concept that it's a vital role of an accountancy firm in 2019 to be offering to your business clients to offer a broader range of professional services other than the preparation of annual accounts and income tax returns. And what I'm referring to is that the accountants or business advisors should in fact be the virtual chief financial officers to assist your clients, whether they're small businesses or medium-sized enterprises. I don't think we've got any very large businesses that are represented by the accountants who are participating in this webinar. So we're concentrating on small businesses and medium-sized enterprises. What can you as an accountant and what can your accountancy business do to improve the business that your client is running? What can you do to add value to your client's business? So first of all, when you look at your client's team, and if we're looking at small business to medium-sized enterprises, we might have clients that have got virtually no staff, maybe a few contractors, through to 100, maybe 150 staff. Undoubtedly, the larger the number of team members, the more possibility that your client will have engaged someone who has a prime responsibility of being in charge of the team, human resources manager or human trainer, or whatever designation may have been given. But for a lot of these clients in small business and medium-sized enterprises, they will not have a person with the necessary skills who is designated as the people or team person within the organization. And this is a role that a progressive accountancy firm committed to offering a broader range of professional services could offer to supply to your clients. And I think in this way, by going through some of the matters which we're going to discuss with you today, you will be able to visualize how your firm or you as an individual accountant can add value to your client's business. Value that your client will appreciate, value that your client will be able to see. So let's start with how you might add value. Is there a people process? Is someone thinking about the team? And we're going to go through each of those categories in a moment. So first of all, is there one team in the client's business, or is there a number of teams? So are the sales team separate from the production team, from the delivery team, the office team, or are they grouped in some other manner? And I imagine that there's leaders in each of these teams. So first of all, who are the teams? Now, do you need specific skills to work in a team? So do you need to be a boilermaker or a welder or a painter or a carpenter or a medical practitioner or a dentist or a receptionist or a nurse? And if so, what skills levels are required to be able to work in that category? And are these skill levels recorded so that there's a detailed record of each individual team member's skills that they have? And is there any licenses or permits that are required? Training requirements. I noticed that a chiropractor in Victoria was fined a substantial amount of money a couple of weeks ago because he had not undertaken the ongoing training program that the Professional Chiropractors Organisation in Victoria specified was required. So this is what I'm meaning when I'm talking about licenses or permits or training requirements, professional development hours. If these are required for any of the team, who's looking after that record keeping? Because I imagine the chiropractor is very embarrassed. Not only was his bank account hit by the chiropractors board, but also this has been widely publicised. I read about it in the Financial Review. So it would not have done his goodwill much good, especially when it was pointed out that he had deliberately not attended a training course that the professional organisation deemed that all chiropractors had to attend. So what licenses or permits, registrations, etc. are required to undertake a particular job? In the trades, it might be that they've got a certificate they can work at heights or drive a forklift, or they're electricians or plumbers, which obviously require special licenses. And is someone monitoring to ensure that renewal applications are lodged when they're required? It mightn't sound much, but it's important to make sure that these things happen in a business and don't present any great problems. So let's go back to the beginning. Where's the journey start? With your client employing someone? Well, I imagine it's going to be an employment advertisement. Now, whether it's placed in a newspaper, on the internet, or through social media, doesn't really matter, but the advertisement's got to be good enough to attract interest. And you could assist in that. You may have someone within your firm who's very good at drafting advertisements. And are the skills recorded? Well, I've probably talked about skills, so we'll move on. Should you be involved in the selection process? Now, if the job's for someone in a clerical or administrative capacity, or as a manager that hopefully will have the ability to be able to read the financial reports that are prepared for the activities that are under the control of that manager, there is an argument that there should be an accounting person sitting on the selection panel to make sure you get the right person. You could assist your client to draft the employment offer, make sure it covers everything. Is there any special arrangements being made with things like holiday pay loading or shift allowances, or even the number of weeks annual leave that this position is going to attract. Many small businesses and medium-sized enterprises do not really get the job descriptions right. This is an opportunity whereby you as the accountant could make sure that the job description was properly drafted. Now, if you were not working as the external accountant, but were actually working as the chief financial officer of this particular client, a lot of these jobs would probably fall to you. I can assure you they probably would have, because some years ago I was the chief financial officer and the company secretary of a listed public company. And gee, a lot of these things ended up in my department to organise. Even though we were advertising for a sales manager or a production type person, we were responsible for making sure we gave the final seal of approval of things like the advertisement, who was going to be on the selection panel. The job description was drafted in accordance with the firm's overall policies. And then the employment agreement, very much, I would have thought, in the financial area. And if your client hasn't got a financial department, hasn't got someone who's a full-time accountant or office manager that's capable of handling these things, then I'm suggesting that as part of this concept of offering a broader range of professional services, which will assist your client to add value, that you put your hand up and say to your client, we're prepared to do this. Obviously, it's going to be factored into the fee you're going to charge your client. So what's the induction process? I think you should be having a look at it and making sure that all segments of the business are covered. Perhaps it's something that should be discussed at the quarterly management meetings that hopefully you're going to be able to organise with your client. And we discussed those a couple of weeks ago in one of these webinars. The induction of a new team member is very important. A lot of money is wasted when someone is not appropriately inducted. They last literally 5 minutes at the job. They don't like it. They haven't met anyone. Whoever they met didn't show any interest in them. And they walk out. And you've got to start the process all over again. Thousands of dollars down the drain. So as part of all that, what about the orientation? Showing them where things are, making sure they're filled in the forms. I think this process is enhanced if there's been a buddy appointed, someone to show them around for the first week or so. Make sure they clearly understand where everything is. So that might be the introductions to the team. So at least they've met everyone. They mightn't remember their names. They won't if it was me, but hopefully some of them will remember them. And if they completed the paperwork for superannuation, for PAYG tax, for notification of next of kin, etc., etc. Some of these things get overlooked at times because there's not a proper system. I'm suggesting you implement that system for your client. So there's no embarrassment that someone's been seriously injured on their first day or second day at work and no one's got any way of contacting anyone because they literally don't know. I've known of that situation to occur, heard about it. Very embarrassing all round. They hadn't got round to asking him to fill in the paperwork. The buddy should make sure that this new team member understands the workplace health and safety regulations. Now, I'm not suggesting you have to have a working knowledge of workplace health and safety, but as part of this concept, have you been the virtual chief financial officer or your firm being the virtual chief financial officer for this client? Having a consulting firm that you can refer your clients to on matters like workplace health and safety, I think is very important. But the follow-up process that you could implement is making sure that whenever a workplace health and safety review is undertaken by that external consultant, that their report is acted upon, not just thrown in the bottom drawer. I've seen situations where I've asked the client for their last workplace health and safety report, and I get a mumble, oh yeah, it's here somewhere. How long ago was it done? Oh, a few months. And I opened it up and I find it was 8 months old. And I said, there's 5 recommendations here. Have you done them? Oh, yeah. Are you sure? Can we go and check? Because that's your obligation. Now, I must admit, what I was really working with that client at that stage was on a corporate governance training program with the new directors that had been appointed. They were all young. They were all out of the factory, in effect. Two of them. I say all, 2 of them. Plus the client himself said, I really don't know much about corporate governance. And we found, to everyone's alarm, that the consultant had come in and done a workplace health and safety review, and the report had, not literally, had just been thrown in the bottom drawer. Nothing had been done. Can you imagine the consequences if there had been a serious accident, or in a worst case scenario, a fatality in that intervening period? What would have happened to that employer, to the directors, the various managers, all of whom were responsible? So I see it as a real role for you as the accounting firm offering this broader range of service to have that item on your checklist, to be reviewing it and then prompting senior management, the leadership team, to do something about it. Your new employee is going to need details of what the internal processes are. Needs to be informed of team meetings. How often are they held? Where are they held? Things like a daily huddle or a toolbox meeting, 5-10 minute meetings. Someone keeping the records of the minutes. Are they passed on to someone if there's a problem? What feedback are the team being given? Is there a weekly review meeting? Is there a weekly review of performance conducted in the business? Make sure the new team member is familiar with what is happening. I think it's a good idea to also inform the new team members so they feel part of the structure. What management meetings take place in this firm? They may be a member of it. This person may be a management person, or they just may be someone that's going to work within the team. But giving them an overview of what happens in the organisation, I think is important to make them feel welcome so that they don't get dissatisfied in that crucial first 5 or 6 days of working. It's important that their skills register is updated. And I've had situations that even after employing someone, we found out other things. I had one of my clients, an accountancy firm, who had hired a person as an accountant. And then when they were going through this skills register, which is part of the package that they subscribed to us for, the new team member said, oh, I've also got a journalist degree. You've got a what? Oh, yes, I was a journalist for a while, but I didn't really like it. But if you want me to write a few articles, I can do that. So they didn't know that this person had those skills, but because they were completing a skills register, they found out and they were able to use that person. What further training's needed? Is this new team member going to be able to fit in to use your $1 million machine that you've just installed that everyone else had 2 weeks training? So making sure that that's monitored and then that new team member is allocated the time for training is very important. I think all this will help your client run a better business because a lot of this is systems and paperwork and checking click forms that things have been done. But in many of your clients, this won't be done if you leave it to the people there because this is not normal day-to-day work. It only comes about when they put on someone new. And in the old days, the attitude might have been, oh, well, we'll throw them into the middle of the lake and we'll see if they can swim. That doesn't really work anymore. I don't think it ever worked in the past either, to be honest. So I think these types of strategies will help your client run a better business. And what it will also do is give your team members some great commercial experience. I was just checking to see if we had any questions. I haven't got any, but if you think of some, please let me know. There is a difference between an accountant giving advice on taxation and annual accounts preparation. I know that. I did that for a long time. As compared to being more of an advisor. You need to develop your commercial skills and knowledge. And in lots of ways, that basically comes from the school of hard knocks, personal experience. But we all haven't got the time that we can wait for that personal experience to be able to build up in each person. So I suggest to you that being proactive in this way, saying to your client that you will help with their people strategy within their business, is a way of you helping your client to add some value. But secondly, it's a great training program for your team, your younger accountants and other staff. It might be a computer programmer, it might be a marketing person in your organization. Can gain considerable experience in what really happens in the day-to-day business activities of their clients. ESS BIZTOOLS can assist you on this journey of understanding what's required. Within our packages, we have a whole range of articles and templates on team member material, going way back to the determining if there is a vacant position in the organization, going through the advertisement, the interviews, the drafting of the employment agreement, the induction process, and then the ongoing monitoring, interviews, training programs that are very necessary. Vern Harnish has really identified that one of the key components, and there's only 4 of them, one of the key components for the life cycle of a business is attracting and keeping the right people. How they're engaged, how they're motivated, how they're made to feel welcome, and how they're trained on an ongoing basis is very important in retaining those people as valued team members within your client's business. Within our material, there's also a leadership product package, and that's the theme for our webinar next week. We decided to split people into 2 components. One on the people and the second one on leadership, because we thought it would go too long if we put it all together. And they are 2 separate issues, even though in the definition of life cycle of a business, it's all been defined as people. The people and leadership are very important. ESS BIZTOOLS includes 23 product packages on a range of matters, from Chief Financial Officer services, succession planning, debtors management, personal property securities register, risk management, corporate governance, budgets and cash flow forecasts, setting retail prices, determining the appropriate charge out rates for trades businesses and professional businesses, and the list goes on. You can subscribe to those product packages on an individual basis if you wish, or you'll get your best value for your investment dollar by subscribing for our gold package, which includes everything. And we then offer you a complimentary training program, 1 hour in a webinar every 3 months to make sure that your team is on track. So the material's ready for you to start using to deliver value-added services. Sure, you've got to listen through a couple of webinars and you've got to read the material and make sure you've got your team organized, but you don't have to spend hundreds of hours in writing the material. We've done that for you. Based on my experience of a long time as an accountant in public practice, partner in a firm, chief financial officer, company secretary of a listed public company, consultant for a major federal government grant program, and for the last 20 years working as a business consultant for clients all over the place. And what you will do from having this sort of activity and being prepared to put your toe in the water to see what is available by changing your website, which we will assist you with, to promote that you are interested in undertaking a range of business improvement services, you will start earning diversified fee income. And every time I say those words, I'm reminded of a report that Deloitte wrote probably 7 years ago now, when it looked at digital disruption. And I ran a few webinars on that at that stage. And I must admit, I had some comments made by some accountants to say, oh, they're overreacting. This is all not going to happen the way they are speculating. Well, I think it has. We've all seen massive changes, not only in the accounting profession, but in our clients' business activities. Some have fallen by the wayside. Some have been able to adapt and get bigger and stronger businesses. Look what's happened in technology, on social media. If you went back 7 years ago, some of the things which we're now accepting day to day, we probably shrugged our shoulders and said that won't happen. So Deloitte suggested in the aftermath of their digital disruption report that groups like accountants and lawyers and engineers and architects, which they lumped together as professional service providers, should be looking to diversify their income. They had a couple of other recommendations which were really not practical, I didn't think, to the type of audience that I suspect we have today. Accountants looking after small and medium-sized enterprises. You can't just decide you're going to go international for argument's sake and go to another country. You might decide to outsource some work, of course. And that, I think, has been one of the consequences of this ongoing issue of digital disruption. But this sort of work gives you the opportunity to be offering chief financial officer services, business plan preparation, helping clients get government grants. And then there's a fair chance that you'll get some consultancy work that the government's paying 50% of in any case. You could look at your clients' risk management strategies, which we discussed also in the last few weeks in one of these webinars. Incidentally, if you're interested in any of our past webinars, whereby we've been talking to people who are not currently our subscribers, we're quite happy to send them to you. Just send me an email, tell me what subject you're interested in, and we will let you know whether we've produced that webinar, and we will send you the link to it. Or you can go to our website and have a look. So you're invited to go to our website, www.essbiztools.com.au, to review the supporting material for our gold and silver packages. They're nearly the same, except the gold package has the right to gain access to our independent grant finding package, ESS Biz Grants. And also gold subscribers are licensed to be able to reproduce our articles. And there's over 550 of them on all sorts of matters on their websites if they wish. But for each of the 23 product packages that I referred to earlier, we have a segment on Learn Mores for each of them. You can access that, obviously free of charge. Go there, there's webinars within each Learn More, so you get a better appreciation of the package that we've put together for accountants to utilize to be able to offer a broader range of professional services to assist your clients to add value and to justify a more than average fee being paid to you by that client. Because that's what you're doing. You're going to be supplying to your clients a broader range of services which will help them run a better business. So do you need more information? If so, please send me your questions. And I should have checked again, but I still don't see that we've got any questions today. I hope that means that I've answered all your questions. But if you think of some questions later on, please send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, or you can telephone me on 1-800-232-088. I mentioned a little earlier that our next webinar is on leadership, and we're calling it Leadership Development, a value-adding contribution. So we're continuing on the theme of what you can do as an accountancy firm or an individual accountant, if you're a sole practitioner, what you can do to add value to your clients. So that webinar is on Wednesday, the 9th of October at 11:30 a.m. AEST and 12:30 AEDT, because yes, daylight savings with us again. We're in Queensland, so we've got to adapt. I realise that because we're the odd one out around Australia and the Northern Territory who don't have daylight saving. But that webinar, Wednesday, the 9th of October at 11:30 a.m. AEST or 12:30 AEDT. You should have received an invitation to participate in that webinar. If you haven't received it and you'd like to go, you can go onto our website and register for the webinar or send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, and my team will fix up the invitation and acceptance for you to participate in that webinar. I hope I've given you some food for thought on the journey that I believe accountancy firms need to take if you are going to remain the trusted advisor for your clients by helping them to add value to their businesses. Have a great day. Goodbye. I hope everything goes well for you.